Good afternoon. This practice is for strength. It's an intuitive practice, meaning it's basically improv. I'm using the concept of strength and our physicality to uncover some places where we have strength in our body and may not know it. So one of the things that I've been investigating over the last month is those parts of our body which bear the weight of our lives and our circumstance, and do so without ever getting a chance to rest. So we'll be working on the concept of strength as it applies to parts of our body. And it's just something to explore. So as we investigate strength within us and find our own personal limitations and also untapped reservoir, we'll be looking at it in terms of our physicality, so our earthiness. And strength has a lot to do with what we see, but it's also found in hidden places in our body. So we're going to begin with a seated position, and it's a nice rainy day here, so I may go out a couple of times, which adds to the excitement, but I hope you enjoy. And so I'm going to close our eyes, sit up nice and tall, rub your hands together. Bring your awareness into your body and that idea of strength and what strength means to you. What does that look like in your body? Bringing the hands to the heart center. Let's begin taking a breath in, lifting the heart up towards the sky. Inhale and exhale. Bring your awareness into your shoulders. As you inhale, let the heart open into the hands. Feel the equalness of both hands pressing gently together and pressing on the sternum. Exhale, release the shoulders down. And take a nice deep breath in. Inhale. Hold the breath. And exhale to release. Landing the hands on the knees. I'm going to make some circles just to warm up the body, and then we're going to do something that requires strength of mind to finish. And that's the funny thing about strength, is that the mind plays a role in that. So I'll be exploring that through our practice today. Making small circles, breathing generously, but not with any kind of need to do it on any particular motion. Just keeping the breath flowing and noticing parts of your body that feel tight. And then maybe slipping the breath into there and bringing an awareness to your breath and how breath gives us strength. Especially in physical moves. As you come through center, hold there for just a moment. Take your gaze down at your nose, either with your eyes open or shut. Take a couple deep breaths in here and notice anywhere that your body is touching the ground, and bring an awareness there. Settle it in. Feel your roots grow into the ground even though you're leaning forward slightly with the chest lifted. Bring the awareness into your tailbone. Draw in on the lower belly. Lift the heart up. Take another sip of air in if you haven't already. As you exhale, round back, tuck the chin. Inhale and come forward and begin your rotation around again. Let go of any need to take the breath anywhere other than where it needs to go on this posture. become aware of how the breath stills the mind. And once again, as we come around the center, we're going to inhale, lift the chest, tuck the chin slightly, look down at the tip of the nose with the eyes closed. Take some breaths in here, root into the earth, find that sits bone. Hold the breath, suspend the breath, and exhale and round back. And then inhaling to come up. So we're going to come all the way up to standing, and this posture is a good one for strength. It's also good for your glandular system, so yay, double the power. So strengthening this glandular system. So the way I look at strength is when I'm doing something and it requires strength, it's uncomfortable. But uncomfortable doesn't mean pain. So if you're feeling pain, you want to make adjustments according to your body. Here I am, hip width apart with my feet. I'm going to be lifting my chest and dropping my head back, and I'm going to do breath of fire. I'm really going to fire up the belly. So if you don't know how to do a breath of fire, you're going to do a long, deep breath, and that is challenging enough. You want to build that long, deep breath into smoothness and allow your body to do that. If you understand breath of fire and you have done it before, you can use breath of fire for this posture. And again, no pain. Uncomfortable is one thing. Strength invites us to assess our egos and make allowances. So sometimes you come out of postures, and that's okay. If you're feeling dizzy, you're going to sit down, or you can also stand with your hands on the hips. Not that you'll feel dizzy, but sometimes when you move things in your body and let go of toxins and release things, it does cause nausea, especially if you ate lunch earlier. So we're going to plant our feet. You're going to make fists out of your hands, and the fists are, the thumbs are on the outside, so it is a Kundalini move. We're going to let the hands come to the waist, but we're going to, or to the hips, and hang with the shoulders down. But I have a lot of structure here. I'm pushing really hard into my hands. I'm going to lift my head up, and then I'm going to begin breath of fire, and we're going to be here for a few minutes. So, all right, here we go. Continue your breath of fire, long deep breaths, a few more moments. Take a deep breath in, hold the head up, draw up on the sex organs, Mula Bandha. Exhale, release the hands and slowly make your way forward. Head comes into alignment, hands go on the hips, and just breathe here in through the nose and out through the mouth. Finding that stillness in the body and in the feet. Root down through the feet. So the feet carry a lot of our strength, and we're going to be relaxing them today as they are a source that we don't release very often. But we'll also be doing our hands. So we want to root into the floor and use our feet, and we're going to allow our body to be the strength that we need from that. So when I say that, when you lean forward, whatever muscle is engaged here to hold you here is really important. So that is your core. So you're going to keep your core really engaged when you're going forward, and that involves lateral bends too. So as I bend to the left, it's going to be my left obliques that hold me. My right is going to release to some extent. I'm still engaged naturally with them. And then if I move to the right, I'm going to engage my right obliques, and that looks like bringing the rib cage to the hip bone. Right, so we want to think of those physical markers and that physicality that we have when we go into like sports. And we're going to use that in this yoga practice to develop strength. So anytime the body is moving out of vertical into a horizontal or movement out of our core, we're going to think of the strength of the muscle involved in that. So very basically, we're going to be doing a circle. So when we extend back, my feet are still in here, and my hips are very still, but I am engaging my back. So I am engaging my erector spinae when I go back here. So we're going to use that principle to do a kundalini move to help build some strength and help our glandular system. So it starts with a breath. So we're going to breathe in and out through the nose in steady, equal breaths. No hold, just a little slight hold at the top and the bottom of each breath. And that is going to be right as you go forward. So we're going to begin leaning to the left, and we're going to go forward with an inhale. The inhale stops, leaning back. Exhale as you go through the back motions. So be very conscious of holding so you have that strength. Engage the abs as you inhale forward. Core, obliques on the right side, and back. So bringing that awareness is going to limit your range of motion at first. So we're going to be here for a moment, just rotating around. And we're still hip width apart, so that is going to limit us and slow us down. And we want it to be slow and deliberate. Bringing our awareness still to the breath. And how strength allows us this movement and holds us in this movement. And how the breath holds our mind, keeps our focus on the intention of the move. And then coming up through the center, I'm coming up from the lateral position rather than the back position. And we're going to go in the opposite direction. So inhale, moving forward. Exhale, moving back. And I often find when I'm moving this, my mind really wants to go deeper. It wants to go deeper. And it's a fine line if I'm engaging in what muscles I'm using to do this. And as I do that, I feel my spine adjusting. And that's very helpful in building strength, since our spine takes so much of our momentum and impact in life. As you come to the left, go ahead and come up to the center. We're going to stretch the arms all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, dive forward. And then place the fingertips on the ground. Now my feet are together. They can still be hip width apart. If the fingertips don't reach the ground, place them on the shins and press against the shins. We want to lengthen our back out. And as we do this, we're going to think about what is giving us strength in the body. So with my fingertips on the ground, I feel rooted, and I'm going to let my fingers sink into the ground and root into the ground and use that strength to lengthen through my spine. bending my legs a little bit. I'm going to feel what that feels like in my neck. Pushing into the ground, feeling my shoulders. Inhale here. And as you exhale, go ahead and fold. Tuck into yourself and allow everything to unwind. Push the feet a little bit more into the floor and release the hands from the legs. If you can, wrap the elbows, let the head hang. Then one vertebrae at a time, root into the ground, push your feet into the ground, soften your gaze inwardly, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Let the arms just hang. And then we're going to do that one more time. I'm going to step to the end of the mat because we're going to come down into downward dog. And we'll be holding downward dog for a few minutes. So, we'll take a nice deep breath in. Stretch it up. Exhale, dive down, take it slow. Engage the core. Feel the hips pulling back. Feet pressed into the ground, arms floating down. Feel uplifted from underneath the arms, armpits. Inhale, lengthen out. Soften the knees a little bit, root into the floor. Draw the lower belly in, maybe wiggle your rear a little bit. Exhale and fold. Stepping back into downward dog, we're going to hold downward dog. Your downward dog. So find that downward dog and settle into the stillness, even if it feels like you need to wiggle. Push the hands into the floor, let them root and become strong. Spread the fingers wide. Broaden through the shoulders slightly. Draw the rib cage slightly in. Lengthen through the waist by drawing the thighs back. Finding that reach, pushing the feet into the ground, rooting the feet. Feel how the heels root. Are they rooted strongly or are they floating? Bend your knees and feel that, even if they float off, feel that strength. Let gravity hold them and feel that connection to the earth. Breathe here. Long, deep breaths. And then lower the knees to the floor. Tuck the feet in and sit back into child's pose. Keep the arms stretched out. Drop the forehead to the floor. And on each thing that is touching the floor, let it root. So if you need to lift your arms up, lift the arms up. And inhale into cat and cow. So take a deep breath in, pushing the feet into the floor. Inhale. Really push the top of the feet in, point the toes. Exhale and round. That will help for the next move, which is a strength move. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And feeling that equanimity in your body in this posture, we're going to bring that in by changing the posture just slightly, by lifting up onto the fingertips and rooting the fingertips in. This will help give us a little bit more round in our back. And our back holds so much. So we're going to give it a little movement and love. Inhale and exhaling. If you can't come up to the fingertips, that's okay. And that is one great example of how strength works over time and steady practice. Make a fist out of your hands. The thumbs are on the outside. You're going to turn so the hands are, palms would be parallel in those fists. cat and cow here, but we're going to curl back the feet. Inhale. And exhale. Push the fists into the earth. Push the knees and the toes into the earth. Inhale. Exhale. Push against the earth. Feel rooted down. Inhale. Let the heart fly. Let the heart open up. Exhale and out. Inhale. And exhale. And then plant the feet again, and we're going to come into a push-up position with breath of fire. Again, if you're not familiar with breath of fire, this is a great time to look it up, and I can put some videos on it, but I prefer to learn it over time. So if you don't know breath of fire, it's a good time just to do long, deep breath breathing, because that's the foundation of breath of fire, is being able to move breath in your body and understanding what that means on your bodies. But we are going to do breath of fire in this if you know how. And we are going to be in a push-up position. So we're holding a push-up position, but we're holding it on the tops of our feet. So we really want to be aware of the tops of our feet and our hands into the earth. And everything else is going to be stable and relying on that strength that we have in our hands and our feet. So as we come up into this position, we're in a horizontal to the floor position, basically, or at a slant, and we're going to be using our core to be engaged in this, as well as in the breathing, which will help our mind struggle through the discomfort of being here. And I think I'll turn it around so I can watch the clock. We'll be here for a bit. Okay. So you're going to come into a push-up position, and of course the push-up position is with the toes pointed here, so it's not going to be curled back. So if you come onto your knees, you want to push the energy into the earth. So I'm pushing my shins in. You want to be very firm in your back and not let it drift. So you want to hold a strong engagement here. And if you need to put your knees down, you put your knees down. So I'm going to come up into my push-up position, get situated so I don't get any kind of excitement going. Push into my legs a little bit. And I have a good look at the clock. I'm on my tops of my feet. I might open up a little bit or bring them together, not sure. There we go. Finding a position I can hold, taking my focus down at the end of the mat, and beginning. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knees, sit back in child's pose. Keep the knees together. Take the hands down, touch the feet. Hold the feet and breathe here. Long deep breaths. Release the hands out. Come back onto the hands and knees for some cat-cow. Bend the elbows and come back up. Bend the elbows and come back up. Bend the elbows and come back up. And then cat and cow. Inhale and exhale. Toes are pointed. Inhale, push against the floor. And exhale, particularly paying attention to the exhale. Using the floor, finding the strength and rooting into it. On the inhale, let your heart float up. Let the tailbone float up. Feel the extension and strengthen your back. A little more like this. And then exhale, curl the toes back into downward dog. Inhale through plank. This time the toes are curled. Hold plank for a moment. Take your gaze out. Seems so much easier. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knees if you need to. Otherwise, lower to the floor. Inhale up to Cobra, or whichever position feels good to you. Exhale through Child's Pose. And back up onto the hands and knees. Take the right arm and thread it underneath the body. Give yourself whatever stretch you need to. Use the floor to anchor. So feel the roots growing directly into the earth rather than sliding along the earth. And rest here. So the fingers that are touching the earth are active, but the fingers that are on the ground are releasing. Engage through the core. Maybe draw your hips back a little bit. Take some long, deep breaths in here. Look for those hidden spaces. And let the breath sink in there. Switching out for the other hand, coming back up again. Take the head in some easy circles. In the other direction. Chin towards the chest. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale and round. Inhale and arch the back. And exhale and round. And one more like that. Inhale. And exhale and round. And we're going to use the other arm. Left arm threads underneath us. Go ahead and stretch into it. Find comfort in this position. Whatever is touching the ground, root in. You'll note in this position that your head is on the floor, so let it grow roots. And on the exhale, let those roots go straight down into the ground and anchor you. Going back up onto the hands and knees. Again, one more cat and cow, but this time we're going to curl the toes back. Inhale and arch the back. Exhale and round the spine. Inhale and arch the back. And exhale and round the spine. For the last one, coming up to the fingertips once more. Inhale, arch the back. And exhale and round. And inhale and flatten out. We're going to come into a seated position. So if you need something to sit on, my blanket here. My friend in my 40s has become my best friend in my 50s. Oh my goodness. Don't go anywhere without it. Okay. So we're going to work on the hands and also some other parts of our body and our core. And this is the part of the strength part and the relaxation part, but it feels uncomfortable just like a strength part. The uncomfortable part is the relaxation, so you'll see. But you'll feel great when it's all over. Right. So we're going to start with a little rotation. So you're going to make that fist again, and we're going to hold it about, about a hand's breadth with the arms parallel to the floor. And we have fists, and my palms are facing forward, and it's almost like I'm holding on to two things that are not going to move. Like they are not going to move. Again, we're going to use our breath. So we're going to be rotating. And again, this is another, like a lateral movement. It is control in your core muscles. And you want to have a good sits down there. So you don't want your hips to go. So you want to be all aware of that. So there's a lot of structure to this, and your hands are rigid and holding really strong. And they don't go anywhere. And your head's going to go with you. So some people, they don't like their eyes to go that way, but one component of strength is focus. So we learn how to open our eyes during practice to give us that focus. And so that's May's theme, is focus. So we're going to use our hands nice and strong, stand up, sit up nice and tall. Chin is slightly down. My gaze is down at the tip of the nose. I like a mantra when I do it, so I say Sat Nam when I go to the left. I go Sat to the left and Nam to the right. And I'm going to keep it very structured so my hips stay very anchored. That's what I need for strength in my body. So take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Inhale to begin. Equal breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Hold the arms strong. Gaze is at the tip of the nose. Now I've heard it say when you do this, you're elbowing whatever you don't want out of the way, behind you. It's a good way of thinking of it. Inhale, center, close the eyes. Hold, squeeze. Exhale and punch out. Inhale, hold and squeeze. Exhale, punch out. One more, inhale. Exhale, punch out. Release out the hands and let them rest. And let the palms rest up. And just feel that energy integrate. Feel the warmth in your shoulders and your core. How open your low back may feel. And then we're going to lift our arms overhead. And we're going to take them at 60 degrees. And you're going to press the palms down. And you want the shoulders to be down. This is a very strong posture, another straight arm or a strong arm position. And we're going to be closing and opening our fingers and deep breathing with our eyes closed. Opening and shutting the fingers, spreading the fingers really wide. Close the eyes. And take your gaze at your third eye. Just breathe. Keep opening and closing those fingers. You're going to notice after about 30 seconds, you have to do something to help you deal with the pain or the discomfort. So you kind of notice that it is discomfort. Can your brain be strong enough to endure that challenge? And if not, what do you have to do to be able to keep going and persevere? Does it take a purpose? It takes focus, willpower. Sometimes it's hard to identify where that strength comes from. This is a good opportunity to practice it in a safe way. So close your eyes and keep going. Sorry. Long, deep breaths in, flicking the fingers, relaxing everything, but keeping the elbows straight. Bending the hands back, down towards the earth, flicking those fingers down towards the earth. Inhale, hold them out, take a deep breath in, hold, 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 hold. Exhale, hold them up. Keep them up, shake them. Hold the breath in as you inhale. Hold them here. Shake them. Exhale, release. Inhale, take them up. Shake them again. Shake everything out. I'm not exactly sure what's like rattling. I think it's me. Exhale, let them go. One more time. Inhale. Shake them out. Exhale, let it go. Now the hands are on the knees and the palms are down, resting gently. And we're just going to do little head circles, keeping the eyes closed. And here we're finding that relaxing circle, the one that feels just what our head needs. No attention to breath. In structure with the movement, just allowing it to flow naturally. And when the chin reaches the chest, we're going to reverse the direction again. Bringing your focus back to that idea of strength. As the chin rests to the chest, take a deep breath in, inhale. And exhale, hold the chin down. Bring your awareness to any sensations in the body. Breathe into that sensation, and as you exhale, let that sensation dissipate. Bring it out. Use the breath as you inhale to bring your head back up, and then open the eyes. All right. We're going to stretch out one leg, your preference. I'm going to work on the side that feels the best to me. One leg is in, and I'm sitting on my heel, and if you're able to, that's awesome. If you're not in that position, anywhere is comfortable. We're going to be working primarily on the side that's extended, but there is a nice stretch on the side with the bent knee. So we're going to use the idea of engagement to go laterally. So I'm going to take my right rib cage and push it towards my hip bone so I can lean over, and that's going to give me some extension. So I'm not trying to get too much range of motion. I want to keep my hips really embedded. You might have a lot of range of motion by engaging that core. You might be able to get a good round in this part of your body. For me, I'm hypermobile, so I'm going to be cinching in my waist here. So I don't want to just release. I want to use the idea of strength to help facilitate relaxation, and we're going to work with that extended arm. So this arm is going to do some work, but the reason I don't want prompts is I don't want to go too deep. I want to work with the notion of strength where my body is today, not the idea of where it can take me. That's for the workout. So extending that arm up, and sometimes for shoulders, if you had a shoulder surgery, it helps to go along this plane here where the shoulder naturally goes to get up to the ear and then be able to open up. So that's a good way to come in and out of lateral moves if you have rib or shoulder issues. So I'm going to engage. I'm leaning towards the extended leg. I'm going to swing my arm up and turn my gaze up. And using my idea of strength and the breath, I'm going to breathe here into the open side and find some space to support expansion using the strength that I have in my lower body, gravity pushing into the earth, rooting. Long deep breaths, noticing where structure needs to be held in my body, or what that feels like. So taking a nice deep breath in, inhale. As you exhale, let the arms swing down. Turn your focus towards that extended leg. Take a nice deep breath in, and then fold in whatever capacity feels good to you, remembering to anchor through your tailbone. And when you're sitting on your heels, sometimes going really low doesn't feel that great, so that's something to consider. So I think a large component of strength for me is in the head and knowing how deep I can go when I know that I've gone there before. So strength of mind and body is a very familiar thing. And you never regret having it, as Fred says, all the time. You just don't regret having strength. Even when you can't use it, you know it's there. So strength of mind is important to know your day-to-day limitations and understand what's supporting you. So in this forward bend position, the floor is supporting me, my core is supporting me, my fingertips are supporting me, and I want to get some stretch. So I'm going to thread the arm of the bent leg, which is my left arm, to my right leg, and maybe deepen the twist a little bit, engaging through those left obliques, and then surrendering to this posture with an awareness, using the breath to become my strength. Place the hands on the floor, inhale to lengthen up, and exhale to rise out, and then fold back in. You can extend the opposite leg, give it a little bounce, and then come back into that seated pose again. And we won't be here long, so I won't grab my cushion. And just take a moment just to notice how one side feels compared to the other. So on this side, where I use this strength, I can feel that the muscles are tight, they've been fired. So I'm going to take a moment to cool off the muscles with this little Satali breath. So I'm going to inhale through the nose, and I'm going to exhale through the mouth through a curled tongue. My tongue doesn't curl, so I'm just going to stick it out and make an O. But if you can curl your tongue, you curl it and breathe out through that. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to do 3 of those. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just return to a normal breath. As we switch sides. So, bringing the other leg in, you can sit on it if you're able to. Gotta adjust my bracelets. Once you're on that foot, the other leg is extended, and how wide is up to you. So sometimes it feels really good for me to go wide, and other times it feels good to have the heel dug in with my knee bent, and that feels better on my hamstring. So this was my mountain leg, so I'm recovering from some tough hiking a few weeks ago, and so I'm not going to go as wide on this leg, and I'm going to be conscious of that in my practice. Not worried about how far I'm going to go. Again, the front arm of the extended leg is going to dig into the floor. I use the floor and my knee, so I press into this. So this is what gives me strength here, and my right oblique. Lifting the arm up, so I'm going to sweep it across the plane. And so this is good feedback. So my shoulder goes forward here, but if I sweep it across the plane, my chest stays open. And so that's what I'm trying to get when I get up here, is to keep that chest open. And then turn my gaze up. and find those roots and long deep breathing here. Take a nice deep breath in. Bring the arm back down, rotating towards that extended leg. Little extension on an inhale and an exhale to fold down. First time gingerly, slowly, with patience. And then my body says that it wants to thread that arm across. So I'm going to thread the arm across, grabbing onto my opposite foot and take it a little deeper. Keep the breath going. Being aware of that oblique and the breathing on my hip bones, feeling that I could release there and give into the posture completely without any attention to structure. And remembering that intention of strength and finding it in hidden places. So challenging my body. Place the hands on the ground. Inhale to come all the way back up. And again, you're going to fold that leg in, and if you need to, extend the other leg out. Shake it out if you need to. In fact, let's take those legs out. Bring the big toes together. And then we're going to fold up again, and you can bring that cushion. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And then opening the eyes, and we're going to do 2 more strength moves, and then we will come down to Savasana. It'll feel really nice. Your low back may be firing, and that is normal because we've been doing a lot of core, so you're going to make modifications because pain in the body is your body's way of telling you that you don't have the strength to do what you're doing, so you have to either find strength in a different spot or look at it in a different way. Is it challenge or is it really pain? And anybody who has pain can tell you pain is pain, challenge is a different thing. So if you haven't experienced that yet, that's why we practice, so we can experience what to do and what the difference is, or at least that's why I practice, but not the only reason. So we're going to come down onto your back, and we're going to be doing breath of fire again, and we'll be in stretch pose. And I've done this probably 3 times today, so I'm not sure where I'm going to go. So my point is that wherever you need to do, if you need to put your feet down, that is okay. Oftentimes I switch. I try to keep the posture true to the posture. Those are my modifications for me. I try to be as true to the posture as I can, and some days I can't do any of the kundalini if I'm practicing a kriya. Some days I can't even come into any of those positions, and that's one of the reasons I do an intuitive practice, is so that I can see where my body is on that particular moment. We can't always be strong every minute of the day, right? So I'm going to come onto my back, find my hips, and go into the breathing for just a moment, knowing I'm going into a challenging posture. I'm going to find my roots in all the areas that are on the ground, turning my palms up right here to relax the fingers. Now, stretch pose is also called boat pose. So you might find that, okay, what's going to be touching the ground? Well, not much of anything. So your core is going to be really fired up and engaged in the breathing. You're going to look down at the big toes. The feet are together, so you're working on that. Drawing the inner thighs towards one another and also strengthening through the neck. So as we come into this position, if you need to keep your head down, you can. You can also keep your hands on the floor, extending one leg. That's some options there. I have used those positions before. This is a very good way of strengthening and learning breath of fire through this posture and keeping the lower back engaged. Another really good way is bringing the hands underneath your rear and tilting your pelvis so that you can extend your legs. And I find it more comfortable to lift my head here, so this is where I would go. My legs are going to be a little higher too. That's another option. But when I put them a little higher, I notice that my tailbone comes off. So bending the knees can also be the option because you want to feel it right here. Let's see what else. And then last but not least is the old-fashioned method where your knees are together. Let's see, like about right there. So one leg at a time. All right. Bringing the knees up to the chest. Rock a few times side to side. Set your intention on getting through however long I go. And we're going to stretch the legs out. They're supposed to be about 6 inches off the ground, but I want to feel my lower back engage. Hands reaching, looking through the toes. Deep breath in, and begin breath of fire. Really pumping the belly with the breath of fire. Ten more seconds. Inhale, hold up. Exhale, release. Take a couple of deep breaths in. And exhale through the mouth. 2 more like that. 1 more. Okay, flipping right over onto the belly, and we're going to do a different kind of breath. So we're going to be in Cobra, so your hands are going to be right underneath you. You want to lift your chest high. This is about opening the heart and engaging the back muscles. So the back muscles between the shoulder blades are that heart opener. They're part of it, as well as your upper abs can, well, you know, it's all one muscle, but we want to stretch up. So we're trying to get a good stretch in our abs, but I'm also engaging a little bit so I can open my chest here. The breath is, the eye gaze is at the third eye with your eyes closed, and the mouth is open and the teeth are together, and you're going to hit the tongue as you exhale with your tongue. As you exhale, and it'll sound like a snake, it'll hiss. So we're going to be inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And you're trying to make the S sound. So very effective if you have something you want to release, if you feel some kind of tightness in your body. I had a remembrance, and I used this to help dissipate that like unpleasant memory that I had. And very helpful in a strength practice. It gives you a tool to work. So get comfortable, find balance on the floor. Remember the roots, push the feet into the floor. You can bring the feet a little closer together. And then draw the elbows back towards the rib cage and rise up. Take your focus, it's not at the third eye, it's down at the nose with the eyes open. And begin breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. it grows difficult, root in, find your structure and posture. Inhale through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and a hiss with the teeth together. Inhale, hold the breath. Exhale, go ahead and sit back, child's pose. Knees are slightly open, forehead drops to the floor, hands come and grab your ankles. Long deep breaths. When you're ready, come laying down onto your back. We're going to bring the knees into our chest, do a little bit of stretching. Draw your nose towards your knee, hug your knees in. Relax the shoulders. Long deep breathing here as well. Really basically it's the same as we just did, maybe a little different. So think about what's growing roots on the floor, allow that. You have your arms holding you, so it's giving you some strength here. You're pushing the legs against the arms to help hold your knees in place. Gentle gaze inward will help hold your head in a relaxed position, letting your shoulders be light. Release the head down. You're going to take the feet along the floor. So they're on the floor and they're about the width of your mat. So the left foot will be on the left side of your mat and the right foot on the right side. It's a little wider than your hips, but your body is in the center. So this is for alignment. We're going to do a banana. So we're going to take the left leg and cross it over the right. So the left leg is over the right, and we're going to take the right hand on the left hip and the left hand up in the air and slightly over, but you want to feel opposition between the two hands. So it's almost like there's this diagonal line that's being drawn between the two hands so that that left hand can't go any further than the right hand goes on the hip. So engage the right obliques slightly, but push the lower back into the floor so you're as long as you can be. If it helps to turn the head, turn the head. I'm going to bring my head and look to the left. Oh my gosh. Breathing here. Gently bring that left arm down. Take the right arm and bring the head back. Uncross the legs. Straighten the body up. Feel the differences between the two sides. And take 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we're going to reverse that. So take the right leg and cross it over the left. And we're going to take that right arm up. The left arm is going to go on the hip. I'm holding on to the hip as a marker, flattening my back into the floor, and taking it over. Turning my focus towards the extended arm. And finding that diagonal between fingers that are on my hips and fingers that are reaching up. And then relaxing my fingers, they almost naturally start to curl towards the other fingers. Sliding that hand down. I'm going to take the hand off my hip and gently bring my head back up. Straighten out and cross my legs. Bring them close to my rear. And I'm going to grab onto my ankles if I can, or fingers reaching. Bring the head straight, looking up at the ceiling, and inhale to bring the back off the floor, walk the shoulders closer together and come into a bridge or modified bridge pose, pressing the feet equally into the ground. Breathing here. If you wish, you can clasp the hands. And from here, I'm going to take 3 Sitali breaths, in through the nose and out through the rolled tongue. Close the eyes, take one more deep breath in. Exhale and begin to roll down one vertebrae at a time. And as you get all the way to the bottom, bring the knees up without tucking the chin, rock side to side, and let the head go in the opposite direction. Hug the knees in one more time. And when you're ready, make your way to Savasana. And as you come into Savasana, you're going to relax into the floor. So you're going to release into the floor, finding those roots first. I find that really helps. Feel supported by the floor. And since you're completely laid out, the upper part of you has no work to do. The brain's supported. Make it comfortable. Let it grow roots into whatever helps prop your head. Let your breath be deep. And we'll be here for about 3 minutes. Bring your awareness into the room and into your body. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. It's a great time to take some time to do some wrist circles and some ankle circles as you stretch your legs out. And take a moment to rock side to side if that feels good to you, or cat stretch. And then, when you're ready, bring yourself to a seated position. Rub the hands together. Feel the physicality and the friction. And then, together, let's bring the hands to the heart center. Today I'm going to end with 3 satanams. I find a lot of strength in being grounded in my practice and my routine. And that's something that brings me strength, and I hope it will bring you strength too, as many people do it throughout the world every day, all day long. And so it simply means I am truth. So I'm going to bring the hands to the heart center, press gently on the heart center, lift the sternum up. Bring your awareness to the third eye, pressing gently and equally into the hands, feeling the heartbeat. And the strength of the body that moved you through practice today. And take a deep breath in to begin. Inhale. Nam. 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 And for each and all of us, I wish you many blessings and Satnam. Namaste. Be blessed. And thanks for joining me. See you next Sunday for more strength.